We have significant breaking news from the Colorado Avalanche. Captain Gabriel Landeskog will not play next season. We'll discuss what's happening and could be ending his career coming up next. So welcome back to another video here at Top Shelf Hockey. As I mentioned, we have some pretty significant breaking news from the Colorado Avalanche organization. We have an announcement here just a short time ago that Captain Gabriel Landeskog, who was out of action for the entire 22-23 campaign, including playoffs, will indeed miss all of next season as well. He is going to be having another knee procedure done, and it will be taking place tomorrow in Chicago. I believe it's the doctor for the Chicago Bulls that is performing this surgery. He's a well-renowned doctor. And this guy is going to be having what they call cartilage transplant surgery. This is pretty significant. I mean, if he's going to be having surgery tomorrow in early May, and they already can say that he will not be able to play all of next season, that's a significant long-term recovery. Now, according to comments from Landeskog himself, he says that he is not contemplating retirement at this point, which I would not expect him to say that. I am sure he's going to go into any procedure and surgery with the hope and level of optimism that he's going to be able to return. But you have to think that based on the fact that he's already missed one entire campaign, he's about to miss a second entire campaign. This is a very significant surgery with a very long recovery. I certainly hope he makes it back. He's a terrific player, a big piece of an Avalanche team. But you have to think that, unfortunately, there is a significant chance that the career of Captain Gabriel Landeskog might be over. I mean, obviously, the last time he would have played would have been when they won the Stanley Cup. So, at the very least, if, and I stress if, this is it for Landeskog, at least he get to go out on the highest, honor, winning the cup and being the captain for that team. Obviously, I'm sure that's not what he wants to do. He's still a young man, still just not far past the age of 30, but he does have a lot of term on his contract, and I guess, the risk with this is that he, maybe the career's over, but if he doesn't do the surgery, that maybe that's the case anyway. He's had multiple other procedures and still missed all this time. Things get corrected to the point that he can play. Now, I did see comments from a former NHL player and former Senators defenseman, Mark Mathot, who says he had the exact same surgery done. Of course, after he left the Ottawa Senators, ended up in Dallas for a couple of years. Didn't play too much longer after he left Ottawa because he ended up with knee problems, the same type of thing. And he said after he had this surgery, he just couldn't get to the point that he could skate at an NHL level again. Now, of course, that doesn't mean that that'll be the case for Landeskog. Not everybody is going to have the same outcome, but certainly it was a long, grueling recovery. Based on my own internal research on the procedure, it sounds like it's like almost like non-weight bearing for about 3 months, and then you slowly build things up after that. So that's why it makes sense that it's a solid probably year recovery by the time you're hopefully feeling normal again. And obviously over time you're going to start working in more and more activities. Like he may not skate for 6 to 8 months. And then after that, it'll be slowly working things up. And after all that time away, you have to think, like I said, it's tough to come back when you've been out of the league. When you see players out of the NHL for 2 years or more, it's rare that they come back. I mean, it's an incredibly significant surgery. There is risk associated. Of course, it could work out. Maybe he comes back, but no matter what, it really sucks for him being such a good player and still at a young age with much more to accomplish. But like I said, at least he's gotten some key things accomplished in his career that he wanted to do, such as winning the Stanley Cup. But at the same time, this does mean, a big thing here for the Avalanche. They are going to go into the next season knowing he can't play. This year, they spent the whole year with question marks and hope and optimism that he's going to be able to come back. They did not put his contract through the LTIR pool at the beginning of the year and spend above the cap to replace him because they didn't think he was going to be out all season. They didn't really do a lot at the NHL trade deadline because there was still hope and optimism he was going to play in the playoffs. That never happened. That certainly helped leave the team a little bit more depleted than it could have been otherwise. That won't necessarily have to be the case next year, where they're going to know he's not going to be available to them for the entire campaign. So Chris Farrell and Joe Sakic and the Avalanche management group can go about replacing him and using that money elsewhere to make sure this team is a little bit more, deeper and stronger than it was this year. It had a heck of a year considering all the things they went through, but considering all things, it just didn't have the depth and the gas left in the tank to go through an upstart playoff team in the Seattle Kraken. Of course, there's still the question marks around Nichushkin as well. I'm not sure if the Avalanche are going to speak to that anytime soon, but certainly big news on Landeskog. The fact that he's going to be out all of next year certainly does not bode well. We certainly want to wish him the best and speedy recovery. Hope the surgery goes well, and I do hope we see him back on the ice in the season that comes after next. Very well could be looking at a future Bill Masterton Award winner if everything goes well and he makes it back, because he'd be pretty much a slam dunk winner if that's the case after missing 2 seasons and coming back from such a significant surgery to rejoin his team and get back under his NHL career. But he does have that long-term deal, so they could be an LTIR a long time if it does not happen. But let me know your thoughts. What are some potential moves you might see the Avalanche do to use that money in an LTR type of fashion to be able to replace him? I mean, you're not going to replace him perfectly. He's a unique kind of player that's very difficult to find. A lot of players like him, you have to draft and develop. You can't just go out and sign. The free agent pool this year in the UFA market is not the greatest. It's not like there's a lot of big names. It's more, depth pieces. Like there's a few decent players, but it's not like we've had in some years, that's for sure. Maybe they make a trade. Hard to say what they do, but either way, the strategy is going to be different. It's just hard to say exactly how things line up that they go about trying to spend that money to get as close as a comparable player as they possibly can to make this team a little stronger going into next year. So let me know your thoughts on the big news in Colorado down in the comments. We'll discuss further. If you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe and stick around. We'll keep you up to date with the latest news, rumors, and analysis of all 32 NHL teams. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you next time.